The light at the end of the tunnel is not a coming train. This is very good news, my friends. Hello and welcome to Live Inspired Together with John O'Leary. As winter begins to give way to spring, look outside, look at the leaves on the trees. It's beginning to show up in our own backyards. It's not the only bit of good news we have, though. We have now crossed the 100 million individual threshold of individuals being vaccinated. This is very good news. It's also being proven out in our own business. We are receiving far more requests here at Live Inspired for John O'Leary to be invited to be either an in-person speaker or a virtual speaker. This is good news not only for me and for our entire organization, but for all of us who are affected negatively by COVID-19 and the shutdowns that changed the landscape of so many businesses, including ours. One of the most common requests that we're receiving lately is the opportunity of being a commencement address speaker. John O'Leary wearing a cap and gown. No teachers from my grade school, middle school, high school, or college saw that. But yes, indeed, I might indeed have an opportunity again to wear a cap and gown. The individuals who are calling our office are letting us know that John would have about 5, maybe 10 minutes to share a commencement address with graduates. These graduates have weathered the storm of COVID-19. They've endured a global pandemic. They are graduating into a post-pandemic world, divided and challenged, profound headwind coming toward them. And I've got 5 minutes to encourage, to congratulate, to challenge, and to equip them to take the next best step forward in their journey. Leaders, family, friends, I'm not sure I can tie my necktie in 5 minutes. And so I've been thinking through what would I say to these graduates? And I realized, man, I would talk about the power of gratitude. I'd share the story of my father, some of the research around gratitude, how it improves health, longevity, vibrancy. I'd share the story of his Parkinson's disease, his resiliency, his grit. And then I talk about the story of purpose. I talk about a custodial staff member named Lavelle and how he showed up every day for a little boy named John O'Leary, how he'd let me listen to music while I cleaned my floor, how he did not just a job, but he kept a little boy alive by doing his job well. I would remind them that every job has value, that we all have value, and that the little things in life aren't. I talk about the power of asking important questions, not as victims, but as victors. And that's when I would share with these graduates the story of Jack Buck being told that a little boy was going to die. And then rather than giving up on that same little guy, asking the question, what more can I do? And then showing up for that little boy the following day and the following day, and then sending me a baseball, and then another baseball, and then another baseball. We talk then about the power of compound interest, how they are called not just to leave behind the school from which they are graduating, but they are called and invited to become far better versions of themselves day after day after day. We call this compound interest around our organization, and the best way to earn it is to ask the question regularly, nightly, religiously, what more can I do? What more can I do? I talk about the power of dreaming big and having bucket lists and on and on and on. And then, my friends, I would look down at my watch and realize that I was 2 hours and 16 minutes into the conversation. The parents of the graduates were angry. The teachers were staring at me with disgust. And all the graduates were now asleep in their cap and gowns. So rather than continuing on in this vein, I would summarize everything that I was trying to say to them far more succinctly. I would tell them the story of when I graduated high school, uncertain of how I was going to do the next step in my journey called college. I didn't know who my friends would be. I didn't know what dorm I might live in. I didn't know where my first classes might be, what major I might choose, or how to do my own wash. I'm kind of a train wreck graduating high school, getting ready to college. I've got a lot of anxiety about how I will fit in. And that evening, at a family celebration, through the unknowns and the concerns, my grandfather handed me a card. Inside of that card was, I'll never forget it, a single bill with, I think, Benjamin Franklin's picture on the front of it. Thank you, Grandpa, for that. But as important as that was, it was the note that he wrote to me that I'll never forget. Although I don't remember the entire line, right below the words, I love you, your grandpa, were these: Micah, 6'8". So I had to look it up that night, what Micah was. but I looked up and read the words from a great prophet who wrote 2,700 years ago. And in short, he says, what would the Lord ask of you? Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. What would the Lord ask of you? What is asked of your life? What does success ultimately look like as you turn the page from this part of your life and move and roll and graduate into the next? Here it is, graduates. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. My friends, I think in that short single line, we could summarize what these graduates most need. And maybe not only the graduates, but maybe the parents, the aunties, the uncles, the siblings, the grandparents, the custodial staff, the teachers, the professors, the principals, the superintendents, and everybody else in the arena. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. My friends, you are in for a treat this week. I'm going to encourage you right now to check out the podcast right below me with my friend Steve P. Holy cow, you're going to be blown away by a man who did not know his father or his mother, was abused in the foster care system, and at age 15 ran. And the life that he has lived subsequently is so deeply inspiring, so deeply humbling, and so deeply encouraging for all of us who are going through our own struggles right now. So check out the podcast. You're going to love Steve. I promise you. I promise you. You're going to love the blog. It is generally what we talked about a moment ago on the messages we can relay to graduates. But more powerfully, I think, shared, you're going to love that, so check it out. And then Coach Matt is going to show up and give you a trap that so frequently we stumble into, but then a tip that you and I can pick ourselves back up and take the next right step forward in our lives. People are always emailing, texting, sharing, and saying, "Hey, John, how can we thank you for helping create this community called Live Inspire Together?" Well, there are 3 ways. Number 1, live these messages. It's not just here to inspire you so you go back to who we were before. We want to live these messages together. So live this. Second thing, so take action. Second thing, share. Tell your friends. Share it online. Text it to a couple buddies right now. Let them know that we are doing life together. And then the third way is to support. This is an operation here that is not inexpensive to manage, to run, and to impact the lives around us. So if you'd like to support us, if you'd like to step alongside of us, click the link right below me that says support. It's a wonderful way that you can contribute to changing the world one life at a time, starting with yours. So graduates, wait for it, with pomp and circumstance playing in the background, I want to remind you that the headwind is real. The challenges are fierce, but the foundation is firm. You are not alone, and the best days are in front of us. Seek justice. Love mercy. Walk humbly with your God. Looking forward to seeing you next week for this time. And until next time, this is your day, graduates. Live inspired together.